Hello, Dr. Mindy Shaw here, and welcome to another episode on Teaching Humanity Remotely. Today, I just need to reiterate a fabulous learning lesson, and that is timing is everything. And I think I told you this once before. I had a friend, and she was telling me how to have a good marriage, and she got married when she was like 16 years old, and she has, to this day, she's like 66, and she has a fabulous marriage. And she was like, timing is everything. And I said, well, that kind of seems manipulative. She said, well, call it what you will, but it's really true. And now I have a really good marriage, and it is really true. And it made me think that as a teacher, I was one of those teachers that really had patience and gave children wait time. And when the other children would raise their hand after someone was called on, who volunteered to be called on, and then needed time to really articulate what the child wanted to say, I would say to the other children, put your hands down, because if your hand is up, you're not supporting this other person who has something to say and just needs a little time. And if your hand is up, you're only thinking about what you want to say. So put your hand down and give the person some time. And if they change their mind and they don't want to answer, then they can let us know that. And so I have another friend, I think I shared, she would never open up a present or a card or an email until she was ready and she could give it its undivided attention. And I was just thinking that in so many ways, timing is so important. And I just want to share this one way, which is sometimes a little hidden and forgotten. And I think it's really essential. Sometimes when we make a prayer or we're trying to see a connection, if the prayer isn't answered right away, or if the connection isn't linear, like when we're connecting those dots, if it's not like 1 and then 2 and then 3, all in a very sequential, easy pattern, if the 3 is far away from the 1 and is having to overskip maybe 4 and 5, and it seems, maybe we're not connected. And this is where time is so helpful, because if we give the necessary time that is required, my experience teaches me that there is always the connection. And the prayer that I think isn't being answered, I only think that temporarily when the answer comes in a disguise, when it isn't the way I thought it was going to come. So therefore, I think it's not being answered. But when I give it enough time, I see, that really was answered. For example, my son's in the hospital and it's life or death and it feels terrible, and how could your prayer be answered? But in a way, it detected a problem that he had for his whole life that was really being not diagnosed. And as he went through these really difficult last 3 weeks, he also got healed from really a lifetime. So even in that way, prayers could be answered. And then, of course, it is what we pay attention to that will really reinforce the contribution or not. So I just wanted to say timing really is everything, and patience really is a virtue. And what we see during the time when we're needing patience and we're feeling anxious, or we feel it's taking too long, or in any of those kind of more negative steps that we go through during the sequence, what we see there's an ebb and flow to everything. And everything's going to take as long as it takes. So what's required in that waiting period when we could be showing up in a way that gives us a lot of anxiety and in a very anxious manner, or negative manner, or losing faith manner, or sadness or worry or fear? Or we could just remember, what? There's a flow and ebb to everything, and I just need to wait the course, and it's how I show up not only to the end result, but throughout the entire process. And if we can teach our children, sometimes it takes a long time to hear back from a college, or sometimes it takes a long time to hear from a job, or sometimes getting on a team, or actors making the show that you want, or the chorus or band, or basketball or baseball team, or whatever it is. Sometimes it just takes time, even to get the gift you want, or the toy that you want, or to learn the skill that you want. And so what happens during that waiting game? Do we just wait with anxiety and worry, or do we wait with the kind of prayer that it's all going to work out? I'm doing my best. If it works out the way I really wanted to, great. If it doesn't, I'll do it again. I'll try again. I'll find a way. And to really also know when to speak to your child. That's another issue about timing. Sometimes it's just not the right time. When your child is in the middle of a temper tantrum or just finished a temper tantrum, it is not the time to have a big discussion of the merits and learning lessons of the temper tantrum. No. You have to let that go. That was an energy that needed to be discharged. And then you need to know when to remember it. So I was talking few episodes ago about my granddaughter having empathy. And although maybe the timing wasn't right, so I didn't talk about it then, at another time something came up. She had a friend visiting, and that friend's like her very, very best friend from out of town. They were thick as thieves together for 2 weeks. And another friend who is local was really missing her. And so I just spoke with her mom, and I just said, you can either discuss this with her or not discuss it with her, or like how to keep old friends and new friends and how to negotiate that. And her mom was really intelligent and said, well, if we were on vacation for 2 weeks instead of a staycation, then, we wouldn't necessarily talk to the local friend. And it all sort of worked out because the friend who was from out of town left, and the other friend let her mother know how much she was missing her. And my granddaughter really missed her too. It wasn't the right time, and they were able to talk it out. So by not butting in, by letting things just have their own life cycle, the lesson was that they could work it out. Now, one thing is they could have worked it out without any conversation, or the other thing is you could say, like on the side, I said to my granddaughter, oh, I bet your local friend really missed you. And she said, I really missed her too. And I said, oh, let her know that because, she doesn't really know that because you were so busy with your friend who traveled to visit you. And it's like make new friends, keep the old, some are silver, some are gold, like that kind of thing, just in passing without making anyone wrong. I think we tend to think that when we're speaking about certain issues, we can have a reaction that we're being made wrong. And I think you always need to make sure you're not doing that and let the person know. And also ask the person if this is a good time to talk. Because if the person says it's not a good time to talk, then they'll be receiving the information being made wrong. So I hope this helps. There's a lot of different ways to talk about the necessity of timing and being sensitive to time and all that can come out of being patient when things take longer than we want, and just watching ourselves show up. And when we're not satisfied with how we show up, just try to turn that around, turn that frown around. All right, until next time, please feel free to visit me at learnwithmeremotely@gmail.com. And please feel free to share and look at my books on Amazon, Dr. Mindy Shaw's paperback. Thank you.